My family called my business a garage hobby until the press called me co-founder of a $480 million project. Knowing their flexes were built on my world all along was better than any revenge speech I could have written. Hey Reddit, so my family spent years clowning on me, calling everything 32 male, did a hobby, worshipping my brother like he was the second coming of Bezos while treating me like the family joke. I let them run their mouths, smiled through their smug little comments, and kept my head down. What they didn't know was, I had a plan brewing with someone way above their pay grade. Let's just say the day the curtain finally lifted, their laughter died real quick, and watching them scramble after was the most satisfying thing I've ever seen. All right, let's cut straight to it. My family worships the holy trinity of status: expensive cars, job titles that sound important, and vacation photos that make their friends jealous. If it doesn't get likes or bragging rights at the golf club, it's worthless. That's been my reality for 32 years. Now, I don't exactly walk around begging for their approval, but I figured maybe they'd at least pretend to care when I invited them to the launch party for my project. Nothing crazy, just a small showcase, a rented space, a few investors, some friends. Something I'd worked my ass off for. I hand my mom the invitation, right? Simple black card, clean design, minimal. She stares at it like I just handed her a flyer for a free car wash. Then she smirks and goes, This? This is what you're calling a launch? Looks like a birthday party in a garage. Tosses it on the table like it burned her fingers. I just laughed. Cool, Mom. Thanks for the support. I'll make sure to keep that in mind when I'm signing contracts that pay more than your precious Cancun vacations. She hated that. My mom's the type who posts the same resort photos every year, like she's in the French Riviera. My dad didn't even turn his head from his newspaper. Don't count on me, he said flat. I'm not going to make a fool of myself sitting in some rented room while you play businessman. When you ruin yourself, don't come crying to me. I grinned. Don't worry, Dad. When I ruin myself, I'll put it in writing so you can frame it next to all of my brother's participation trophies. Speaking of the golden boy, my brother was already holding the invite, showing it to his girlfriend like it was comedy night. Look, babe, he's having his grand launch at a co-working space. How inspiring. Then he fake clapped. Big moves. His girlfriend snorted and covered her mouth, whispering just loud enough for me to hear, Oh, that's so sad. I looked at her and said, Don't strain yourself pretending to laugh. Botox only holds up so much. Her face dropped. My brother puffed up like a balloon ready to pop, but whatever. Then my aunt strolls in, like the universe needed a bonus track to the circus. What's all the noise about? My mom goes, About his little launch party. My aunt doesn't miss a beat. Oh yes, my friend told me. Poor thing, settling for so little. Honestly, it's tragic. I'd posted a save the date the week before. Apparently it made the rounds. I just stood there, deadpan. Yeah, tragic. I might have to start selling organs next week to pay for it. Maybe you'd like to be first on the donor list, Auntie? Silence. She blinked at me like a broken Wi-Fi router. See, here's the difference between me and them. I don't crumble when they throw shade. I've been marinated in their crap long enough that sarcasm just slides off my tongue. But don't get me wrong, it still pissed me off. Not because their opinion mattered, but because they were so damn predictable. Same script every time. Brother worship, me treated like some hobbyist who wandered off the family script. They measure everything in cash and clout. My brother gets a promotion? Champagne dinner. He buys a new car? Dad beams like he just won the lottery. Me selling my first contract? They laugh and ask if it even covers rent. That's the vibe I grew up with. So hearing it again, raw and unfiltered, wasn't exactly shocking, but I'll admit, it was like a slap in slow motion. I stuffed the crumpled invitation back in my jacket and stood up. All right, well, I'll let you guys get back to your family talent show. You're really killing it in the categories of arrogance and ignorance. 5 stars. Don't forget to tag yourselves. My mom hissed, Don't be disrespectful. I smirked. Oh, don't worry. I'd have to respect you first before I could lose it. Then I walked out. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because I was hurt, but because I couldn't stop replaying every smug look, every dismissive comment, every you'll never make it speech I'd heard since I was old enough to bring home report cards. It wasn't about the damn party invite. It was about a lifetime of being their punchline. They saw me as disposable because I didn't follow their blueprint. I didn't stay in the law program my dad forced on me. I didn't climb some corporate ladder like my brother. I built my own lane. And because they couldn't brag about it at their little social club, they decided I was a failure. The funny part? They actually believed it. And that's when it clicked. These people weren't villains. They weren't masterminds pulling strings. They were clowns in Gucci shoes. They'd already handed me every tool I needed to crush them. Their pride, their obsession with appearances, their addiction to status, those would be the nails in their coffin. I didn't need to scream or beg or prove myself at some family dinner. Nah, I just needed to let them keep digging, then pull the spotlight when the hole was deep enough. So yeah, when I say that night something hardened in me, I mean it. I wasn't going to waste another second chasing their approval. I was going to make them choke on their own words. And the best part? They wouldn't even see it coming. Because here's the truth my family doesn't know. I'm not doing this alone. I've got someone in my corner who makes my brother's so-called connections look like kids trading Pokemon cards. The guy's name is Mark. On paper, he runs a mid-sized development company. That's what people see. But under the hood, he's a shark. Mark built his empire buying up busted warehouses in the late 2000s, flipping them into logistics hubs before e-commerce blew up. While everyone else was still laughing at the idea of people shopping online for everything, Mark was laying concrete and wiring fiber. By the time Amazon was snapping up real estate, Mark already owned half the land they wanted. He's not flashy, doesn't drive a Ferrari, doesn't post champagne dinners. His thing is silence. Low profile, high control. And he liked me because I didn't kiss his ass. I met him 3 years ago at a freelance gig. I was doing design work for one of his subsidiary brands, and instead of just delivering what they asked for, I streamlined their whole campaign, saved them 6 figures. Mark calls me into his office, looks at me for like 5 seconds and goes, "You're either cocky or competent. I'll find out which." Turns out he liked the answer. From there, he pulled me into bigger projects. Not as some intern fetching coffee, but as someone who could see angles his own people missed. He liked that I didn't play politics. If something was garbage, I said it. If something worked, I backed it with data. Simple. And when I told him about my family circus, the mockery, the dismissals, he didn't laugh. He leaned back in his chair and smirked. Good. Use it. People who underestimate you are the easiest to beat. They don't guard their backs. Okay, that's why when my family thought I was hosting some rinky-dink launch, I already had contracts on my desk with numbers that would choke them. But Mark and I agreed. We wouldn't show our cards yet. We'd time it. Strategic. Let the gossip build. Let the haters run their mouths. Then drop the hammer so hard the echo followed them for years. So when my mom called my launch a block party, she didn't realize half the investors in that room were Mark's network. Guys who could buy out my dad's entire golf club 3 times over without breaking a sweat. She didn't know the catering was comped by one of Mark's hotel partners. She didn't know the entire small rented room had its rent covered by a joint venture holding company we control. That's the difference between them and me. They want the illusion of power, the Instagram highlight reel. I'd rather move in silence and let the receipts talk later. That night, after their little roast session, I sat down with Mark. We were in his office. Simple place, no gold statues, no marble fountains, just wood shelves stacked with case files and a giant city map pinned to the wall. He sipped his black coffee like usual and asked, "So they trashed you again?" "Front row tickets to the show," I said, grinning. "Apparently, I'm throwing a garage birthday party. My brother got a kick out of it. His girlfriend, too. Guess that's the entertainment they get when they're not financing her Botox." Mark smirked. "Good. Let them laugh. Means they're not watching their blind spots." He pointed at the city map behind him. Red pins, blue pins, green pins everywhere. You know what those represent? Deals people said would fail. Land everyone laughed at me for buying. Projects they said I'd sink in. He leaned forward. "And now they rent from me. You see the pattern?" I nodded. "Yeah. Let them talk. Then own their playground." He chuckled. "Exactly. So here's what we're going to do. We won't just show your family success. We'll show them power. Drip by drip. Bait them. Make them gossip. And when they think they've figured you out, we pull the rug and let the world see who you really are." That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about proving myself. This was about strategy. About using their own arrogance as fuel. My family's obsession with appearances was the perfect trap. Give them a breadcrumb, they'd start a whole rumor mill. And when the truth landed, they'd choke on it. I grinned. "So basically, we gaslight the gossipers into building my PR campaign for free?" Mark laughed. "Now you're getting it. That's why I wasn't losing sleep over my mom's Cancun wannabe vacations, or my dad's executive 2019 Audi A6 he won't shut up about. While they were busy flexing like they'd peaked, I was building the floor under their feet, and I was going to pull it out from under them at the exact right time. They wanted to measure my worth in appearances? Fine. I'd give them appearances, but I'd make sure the receipts were real. The thing about my family is they don't need facts to run their mouths. All they need is a rumor and a free Wi-Fi connection. Mark knew that, and so did I. So instead of hiding, we decided to feed them. Not the truth, just enough crumbs to keep them guessing. First move? Low-key flex. Nothing loud. Just a picture I dropped on my story. Business class boarding pass. No caption, no cheesy grind quote. Just my hand holding the stub, logo peeking, watch in frame. I didn't even tag the location. Within 2 hours, one of my cousins screenshotted it and dumped it in the family WhatsApp group. Look at him, acting rich. My brother replied, debt flex. Give him 6 months. I didn't respond. I don't argue with people still making payments on used cars. Next step was a dinner meeting with Mark and 2 investors at a downtown steakhouse. Real players. The type of guys who don't need Instagram because their names open doors. I waited until the meeting was over, snapped a photo of the table, empty glasses, folders stacked, city lights in the background. Caption, late nights, worth it. That one spread fast. My aunt texted me, honey, are you sure you're being responsible with your money? Don't get carried away. Translation, the family chat was already on fire. I left her on red. Mark cracked up when I showed him. They're biting already? Perfect. Don't overdo it. Small bites until they choke. So we kept it subtle. Blueprints spread across a desk, my hand pointing at one section. Another time, me walking into a lobby with brushed steel walls and marble floors. No captions explaining what it was. Let them fill in the blanks. And they did. My brother's girlfriend even commented under one post, hope you're not using Photoshop? I ignored her. Next day, I posted a shot of me shaking hands with a guy in a hard hat in front of a half-built high-rise, one of Mark's other sites. Mark laughed when he saw it. That's checkmate without even playing. The more I starved them of details, the harder they scrambled to invent stories. He's fronting for someone. He's pretending. He'll drown in debt. Every excuse dug their hole deeper. And when the truth landed, there'd be no way out. It wasn't just social posts, though. I was making actual moves. I pulled one of my designs from a minor client and funneled it into a larger project with Mark's firm. Bigger exposure, bigger paycheck. I didn't post the contract. I didn't brag. I let the work speak. When that project's campaign hit the news, my name was on the credits. Guess who sent me the article? My cousin. Message read, wait, is this you? I replied with one word. Yep. Silence after that. By now, the family group chat had split into 2 camps. Half of them swore I was a fraud, seconds from collapsing. The other half whispered maybe I was onto something. Either way, they couldn't stop talking about me. Exactly what I wanted. Meanwhile, I kept stacking wins in the background. More boardroom meetings. More contracts signed. Every step moved me closer to the public reveal. The stage was being built, and they didn't even see it. I'll admit, it was fun watching my brother squirm. He'd post his new promotion with a caption about grinding hard. I'd drop a picture of a conference table with 12 executives staring at me mid-presentation. No context. Just silence that screamed louder than his bragging. He showed off his BMW. I posted a shot from a high-rise balcony, skyline lit up behind me. No caption, just city lights. That's the difference. He wanted applause. I wanted suspense. And suspense is a lot more powerful. Mark told me, you're not showing off. You're baiting. When the curtain drops, they won't just be surprised. They'll realize they never knew you at all. He was right. This wasn't about shouting louder than my family. It was about timing, about building pressure until the reveal crushed them under its own weight. So I kept it going. A story of me walking through a construction site. A blurred shot of contracts across a desk. A casual coffee photo, Rolex visible. Nothing direct, everything deliberate. And the family? They bit every time. They're overspending. He's faking. They'll be bankrupt in a year. Every word was another nail. Every comment another receipt. I screenshotted all of it. The bait was set. And my family? They were circling like hungry fish, laughing at what they thought was scraps when it was really a hook. They thought they had me figured out, but the punchline was coming. And when it landed, it was going to hurt. The timing wasn't random. Mark had been lining things up for months, and I was part of the play. On a Tuesday morning, while my family was probably busy patting my brother on the back for making another PowerPoint at his firm, the press dropped it. The headline hit like a grenade. Local developer partners with rising entrepreneur for $480 million mixed-use project. And right there, in the first paragraph, was my name. Not as an intern, not as a junior assistant, not as a design consultant, as co-founder of the entire venture. Technically, co-founder COO of the Project SPV, a joint venture with Mark's Group. Single-digit equity with performance ratchets. Black ink on white paper. Public record. No spin, no wiggle room. Mark texted me before I even saw it online. Curtains up. Within an hour, LinkedIn was blowing up. Industry sites reposted the article, investors were tagging me, and my inbox looked like it had caught fire. A week before, nobody outside my circle knew my name. By noon, I was the guy plastered across business feeds, standing next to Mark in a photo with hard hats and shovels, grinning like a wolf. We shot the groundbreaking photos that morning for the release. I didn't post it myself. Didn't need to. Other people did the heavy lifting for me. A cousin screenshotted the article and dropped it in the family WhatsApp chat with the caption, "Wait, is this real?" Silence. Then my brother. "Must be some mistake." Another cousin chimed in, "Dude, it's on Bloomberg too. His picture's everywhere." That's when the panic hit. They weren't just reading my name. They were seeing words they couldn't stand next to it. Visionary, major partnership, high-profile development, like stuff you can't shrug off as luck or Photoshop. By mid-afternoon, it was viral in my circle. Former classmates messaged me like we'd been best friends. Old coworkers wanted to catch up. Investors I'd never spoken to were suddenly excited to connect. The same people who ignored me for years now couldn't type fast enough. And my family? They were imploding in silence. The chat that usually ran 24/7 with gossip and humble brags went dead. No emojis, no proud of you, no congratulations. Just digital crickets. Then the cleanup started. My brother's old Facebook post mocking my garage projects? Deleted. My mom's comment under one of my pictures saying, "Be careful, love doesn't pay bills?" Gone. My dad's snide reply in the group chat, "That's not a business, that's a hobby?" Wiped. But the thing about the internet? Screenshots don't care. I had every one of them saved. And just when I thought the silence couldn't get louder, outsiders started tagging my family in public. My dad's golf buddy commented under the article, "Congrats! Your son's name is all over the news. Amazing achievement." Tagged my dad directly. I nearly choked laughing. My old man probably read that with smoke coming out of his ears. For years, he paraded my brother like a prize horse. And now people were congratulating him for the failure he spent a decade mocking. My mom got hit too. One of her friends posted, "Didn't know your son was behind this. We visited one of Mark's developments in Miami. Beautiful work. You must be so proud." Yeah, proud. Sure. Proud like a cat choking on a hairball. The irony was so thick I could have bottled it. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed nonstop with texts from my family. Not direct congratulations, of course. No, they went for their usual angle. Control. Dad, why didn't you tell us about this? Mom, we should have been involved. Family should be first. Brother, people are asking me if this is true. You need to clear it up. Clear it up? My name was in Forbes, plastered across financial networks, trending on LinkedIn. And this idiot wanted me to clear it up like it was a bad rumor. I didn't reply. I let them stew. By evening, the screenshots were flying across the group chat. Cousins were sharing links, uncles were dropping wow emojis, and someone even dug up a photo of me and Mark at the groundbreaking ceremony. My aunt, the same one who told me my launch was tragic, sent a voice note that sounded like she'd swallowed sandpaper. "Congratulations. I guess we underestimated you." No kidding. The real gem came later that night. One of my brother's colleagues messaged me on LinkedIn. Apparently, at his office, the article had been pulled up during a team meeting. His boss looked at my brother and said, "Isn't this your brother? Impressive. Quite the contrast." Let that sink in. My brother spent years being the success story. Now his own boss was using me as the measuring stick, and he came up short. When I heard that, I poured myself a drink, leaned back, and laughed. Not because I needed the validation, but because karma finally paid out with interest. Mark called me the next morning. "How's it feel?" "Like watching a bully trip over his own shoelaces in slow motion," I said. He chuckled. "Good. Don't gloat yet. This is only the opening act." And he was right. This wasn't the finish line. It was just the spark. The real fire was still coming. Because for the first time in their lives, my family wasn't the ones controlling the narrative. They couldn't bury this, couldn't dismiss it, couldn't laugh it off. The world saw the truth, and their only move left was damage control. The grenade had gone off, but the smoke hadn't even cleared before the aftershocks started hitting. My family thought the headline was the humiliation. They had no idea that was just the teaser. The real comedy was in the details, the connections they never realized, the irony so thick it deserved its own award. First one to get hit was my brother. He'd been flexing that BMW for months, posting driveway shots like he was in a commercial. Turns out the dealership he leased it from, Mark's group, had quietly bought a controlling share last year. So yeah, every payment my brother made, every photo he bragged with, he was padding the pockets of the same network he swore I'd never belong to. Then there were my parents and their Cancun vacations they treated like first-class tours of Europe. Cute little beach resort, all-inclusive. The kind of place my mom posted about like she was at the Four Seasons in Paris. Guess who developed that property 10 years ago? Mark. Guess who redesigned their marketing campaign last year? Me. So the very failure they mocked was the reason their margaritas had umbrellas in them. And the cherry on top? My dad's precious country club. He strutted around there like he owned it, bragging about my brother's career trajectory. What he didn't know was the new sponsor for their upcoming gala was none other than Mark's group, the same name sitting next to mine in every article. Meaning, when he shows his face at the next charity auction, he'll be standing under a banner with my name on it. I didn't plan that part. That was just life-serving irony on a silver tray. The fallout wasn't just in their social circles either. Word travels fast in corporate offices, and my brother's firm wasn't immune. A buddy from college who worked there shot me a message. Bro, your Forbes article got pulled up in their morning meeting. Your brother looked like someone punched him in the throat. Apparently, his boss didn't waste the moment. Pointed at the screen, then at my brother. That's your brother, right? Impressive. Funny how one sibling takes risks and builds something, while the other sticks to PowerPoints. Whole room laughed. My brother went red. That's when I knew the tables had officially turned. For years, I was the family embarrassment, the hobbyist, the dreamer. Now my brother was the punchline, at his own job. Meanwhile, my inbox kept stacking with partnerships, invites, handshakes. But the messages from my family? Different story. They weren't gloating now. They weren't mocking. They were scrambling. Mom texted again. We should be more united. People are asking questions. Translation. Her friends were grilling her, and she didn't have the script anymore. Dad tried a different angle. This project, does it have room for family involvement? I have contacts who could help. Brother didn't even bother with subtlety. Look, we could collaborate. I've got ideas for an app hotels could use. Investors would love it. An app. This guy really thought a knockoff booking app was his ticket into a $480 million deal. I didn't reply. Didn't need to. Silence was louder. The fun part was hearing about their reactions secondhand. My cousin called me, laughing so hard he could barely get the words out. Dude, your dad's been trying to explain this whole thing at the club. First, he said you got lucky. Then he said you were just involved a little. When someone showed him your co-founder title, he nearly choked on his cigar. Another cousin spilled about my mom. Apparently, one of her friends asked if she was proud of me. My mom tried to smile and said, "Of course." But the woman followed up. Funny, you never mentioned him before. You always talked about your other son. That one stung. My mom hates being caught off script. Everywhere they turned, they were stuck between their past words and my current reality. Couldn't brag about my brother without someone bringing me up. Couldn't talk about vacations without realizing I'd had a hand in them. Couldn't even sit at their club without my name hanging over their heads. And me? I didn't have to lift a finger. The world was doing the work for me. Mark summed it up when we met later that week. He smirked and said, "You notice how you haven't said a word to them, but they're the ones sweating?" "Yeah," I said. "It's like watching clowns juggle knives. Entertaining, and you know how it ends." He leaned back. "Good. Don't rush it. Their pride is collapsing in real time. Let them sit in it." And I did. For the first time in my life, the balance had shifted. I wasn't the one defending myself. I wasn't the one answering questions. They were. Their empire of fake pride had cracks in it, and every day the cracks spread wider. They thought the headline was the humiliation. It wasn't. The real humiliation was discovering they'd been flexing with my world all along, and now everyone knew it. They showed up at my house on a Sunday evening. No text, no warning, just the doorbell ringing like it was the cops. I opened the door, and there they were. My dad in a blazer 2 sizes too big, trying to look important. My mom clutching an expensive shopping bag, plastering on the kind of fake smile you only see at bad funerals. My brother standing behind them, eyes darting like a kid caught stealing. "Son," my dad said, stretching the word like it hurt his mouth. "Great to see you." I leaned on the doorframe and smirked. "Didn't realize we had family night scheduled? You want me to get the popcorn, or is this more of a charity case?" My mom forced a laugh. "Don't be silly. We brought gifts." She pulled out a sleek Chanel bag and handed it over like it was supposed to erase 20 years of garbage. For you. I looked at it, then at her. Cute. Did it come with instructions on how to buy back respect? Her smile faltered. My dad stepped in, holding out a box of cigars. Thought you might like these. Celebratory. Right, I said. From the same guy who told me my business was a hobby? Funny, you hated my so-called garage projects, but you'll smoke to celebrate them once Forbes writes about it. He shifted uncomfortably, muttering, You misinterpreted. I cut him off. No, I didn't. I screenshotted it. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen. His exact words in the family chat lit up. That's not a business. That's a hobby. I tilted it so he couldn't look away. That you? His face drained. My brother piped up, desperate to shift gears. Listen, I've been thinking. With your position now, we could work together. I've got this idea for an app. I held up a hand. Stop. Don't embarrass yourself. It's serious, he said quickly. Hotels could... Shut up, I said, flat. You spent years laughing at me for building something from scratch. Now you want in because you think there's money on the table. You don't want to collaborate. You want to leech. And I don't feed parasites. His jaw tightened. He looked like he wanted to say something, but swallowed it. Smart for once. My mom tried again, her voice sugar-sweet. We just want to get to know this side of your life. Please, don't shut us out. Family should be first. Family? I laughed. When exactly did I qualify as family? When you told me I'd end up broke? When you mocked my launch party? Or when you celebrated my brother like he cured cancer while treating me like a failed science experiment? Her eyes welled up, but I wasn't finished. You don't get to play the family card after burning it for decades? You raised me like I was disposable, and now you want a seat at the table because the table's worth something? Number that seat is closed. Permanently. Then my mom made her big move. She reached into her bag and pulled out my grandfather's watch. The one I asked for every birthday, every Christmas, every damn year since I was a teenager. The one they always told me I wasn't ready for. She held it out to me, smiling nervously. We want you to have this now. You've proven you know how to value things. I stared at the watch, then back at her. 20 years of being told I wasn't good enough for it. And now you're offering it to me like a bribe? I took a step closer. Keep it. It looks better covered in your excuses. Her hand trembled. She pulled it back slowly. My dad finally snapped. You can't talk to us like this. We're your parents. I smirked. Number. You're just two people who happened to raise me. Parents support. Parents back their kid even when it's not Instagram worthy. You? You measured my value by my bank account. That's not parenting. That's accounting. And you're terrible accountants. The room went dead silent. My brother shuffled his feet. My mom stared at the floor. My dad clenched his fists like he wanted to swing but knew better. I pointed at the door. Get out. Take your cigars, your bag, your bribes, all of it. You don't belong here. My mom tried one last line, her voice cracking. We can start over, please. I tilted my head. Start over? Like I'm some failed draft you can re-edit? Number, I'm the final version. And you don't get access. They didn't move. So I opened the door wide. Out. Now. My dad muttered. You'll regret this. I laughed in his face. The only regret I've got is wasting half my life trying to prove anything to you clowns. I don't need your approval. Never did. You're the ones choking on regret now, not me. They filed out one by one, dragging their fake gifts like trophies no one wanted. My mom tried to brush past me with a hug. I stepped back. Don't. Save the performance for someone who buys it. And then they were gone. Door shut. Silence. I stood there, letting the quiet sink in. No guilt. No second guessing. Just relief. For once, I wasn't the kid they kicked around. I was the man who kicked them out. Savage? Maybe. But after of being their punchline, it felt like justice. The week after I kicked them out, the fallout started rolling in like dominoes. First casualty, my brother. Word about the project had already made its way around his office, and apparently he couldn't handle the comparison. A former coworker sent me a message. Bro, your brother's been a wreck. Boss roasted him in front of the team again, said, maybe you should call your brother for career advice. By the end of the week, HR sat him down for a performance improvement plan. 3 weeks later, his LinkedIn flipped to seeking new opportunities. Translation: asked to resign. Couldn't have scripted it better. The golden boy they worshipped got benched, while the failure they mocked was trending in business feeds. That's not karma. That's poetic accounting. Then came my parents. A few weeks later, their precious country club hosted its annual charity gala. Big night, full of shallow handshakes and overpriced champagne. Guess who was on the sponsor board? Mark's Group. which meant my name, in bold, right under the headline, Sponsors. I wasn't there, but word got back fast. A friend of a friend saw my dad's face when the MC read the list of sponsors aloud. Said he looked like a man being forced to swallow glass. My mom tried clapping along, smiling for the crowd, but apparently her fake enthusiasm couldn't sell to people who'd been following the headlines all week. By the end of the night, no one was circling them at the bar. No congrats on your son! No whispers of envy. Just polite nods and distance. For people who thrived on appearances, social isolation was worse than death. The real punch, though, came from their so-called friends. My mom's bestie posted under one of the gala photos. Can't believe you never mentioned your sons. That one stuck like a dagger. My mom always bragged about my brother's accomplishments, but she never once claimed me. Now the world was pointing it out, publicly. Meanwhile, I was busy doing something they never imagined, living without them. My days were packed with meetings, travel, building actual things, not chasing fake approval. At night, I'd sit on my balcony, whiskey in hand, and watch the city lights. I wasn't thinking about their insults anymore. I was thinking about the next move. The silence from them was deafening. No more fake gifts, no more guilt trips, just the occasional desperate text. Mom, can we talk? Dad, we need to clear the air. Brother, let's not let this ruin us. I didn't reply. Deleted them as they came in. Screenshotted some for laughs. And the best part? The family group chat, the same one they used to mock me in, was now a shrine to my headlines. Cousins dropping articles, uncles sending clapping emojis, everyone pretending they'd supported me all along. My parents sat in that chat, watching their own relatives congratulate the son they tried to bury. Mark called it poetic. I called it Tuesday. The real freedom wasn't the money or the recognition. It was the cut. Clean, sharp, permanent. For the first time in my life, I didn't owe them explanations. Didn't owe them appearances. Didn't owe them a seat at my table. I even made it official. Changed my last name legally, dropping the one they stained. Signing that paperwork felt like slamming a door shut for good. Contracts stay under the old entity. I use the new name personally and for future filings. A month later, I got a call from a mutual acquaintance. My dad had tried pitching himself as a consultant to one of Mark's partners. The guy laughed him out of the room. Your son's reputation is gold. Yours? Not so much. He told me that with a grin in his voice. I just shrugged. Guess the market corrected itself. So yeah, my brother's unemployed. My parents are social pariahs. And I'm exactly where they swore I'd never be. Building something real, respected, mine. They dug their own graves with arrogance, and all I had to do was turn the spotlight on. Do I feel bad? Not for a second. They weren't proud of me when I was grinding. They weren't family when it counted. So why should I play Son of the Year now that I'm untouchable? They lost me. Permanently. I didn't have to target them. The world did the heavy lifting. Their pride collapsed on its own weight. The truth? I don't need their apologies. I don't need their recognition. I don't even need their name. What I've got now is worth more than all of that combined. My freedom, my dignity, and a front row seat to the empire of fakes falling apart. And if you ask me, that's better than revenge. That's justice.